In his song, 𝗬𝐻𝐸 captures how Jesus is the game changer and life turner in 3 incidents. One sat alone beside the highway begging. His eyes were blind, the light he could not see. He clutched his rags and shivered in the shadows. Then Jesus came and bid the darkness flee. From home and friends, the evil spirits drove him. Among the tombs, he dwelt in misery. He cut himself as demon powers possessed him. Then Jesus came and set the captive free. Unclean, unclean, the leper cried in torment. The deaf, the dumb, in helplessness stood near. The fever raged, disease had gripped its victim. Then Jesus came and cast out every fear. Against all odds, the tide turned and the impossible became reality when Jesus came into the life of the blind beggar, the demoniac, and the leper. The recurring phrase, "Then Jesus came," is signature of the dawn that breaks the crippling darkness of night. When all else fails, Jesus is the ultimate game changer and life turner. The triumphant certainty is expressed in the chorus of Smith's song. When Jesus comes, the tempter's power is broken. When Jesus comes, all tears are wiped away. He takes the gloom and fills the heart with glory. When Jesus comes, the darkness flees away. Life has an uncanny way of throwing a curveball at us. Fate has an evil streak that destroys us even as it prospers us. We all live in fear of some capricious power that will snuff out life at its prime, curtail pleasure at its peak, and jeopardize good fortune that is on a roll. We feel vulnerable in our mortality and helpless against such debilitating power. The odds are against us to surmount such a formidable force. Consider these situations. Firstly, an irreversible condition. When the doctors tell us there is nothing more they can do to help us, we know that the bets are off. The condition is irreversible and the eventuality is inescapable. The blind do not see the light. The crippled do not grow limbs, and the dead remain dead. Those are conditions that are permanent and irreversible. Fear grips our hearts, tears fill our eyes, and darkness engulfs our horizon. It is when we shiver in the shadows that Jesus comes and bids the darkness flee. The presence of God in Jesus make nonsense of the odds that we calculate, the prognosis of experts, and the patterns of human experience. There is no predicament that God's power cannot reverse. Our hearts are quick to judge the person who attempts to turn over a new leaf. We cynically dismiss their efforts with a cavalier comment, "The leopard can never erase its spots, nor the tiger its stripes." Our self-righteousness condemns to a prison of our own design the people we perceive as incapable of changing for the better. Once a thief, always a thief is our pronouncement of others' irreversible condition. Fortunately, we have witnesses to lives transformed by God's grace. Convicted criminals have been arrested by God's love and submitted themselves to a new conviction within their hearts. Terminally ill patients have been given a new lease on life without medical intervention or explanation. Material provisions have been supplied in inexplicable fashion from sources unknown to the beneficiary. Only God's intervention is adequate explanation for any dire human condition that has been reversed. Secondly, we think of irretrievable loss. Anytime we lose something of value or someone we love, a gaping void aches in our hearts. Even when the loss is temporary, the pain may be deep and the empty heart reverberates with longing. But when the loss is permanent, that pain may be inconsolable, as what or who is lost is irretrievable or irreplaceable. Trusting people have lost their life savings to unscrupulous con artists. Their loss irretrievable. They look forlorn as they wonder who will take care of them and how their future needs will be met. Even more painful is love that has been betrayed. We invest so much in love. We give so much of ourselves to the person of our dreams. But when our lavish loving is unrequited, or worse, betrayed, we feel used and we despair for meaning of existence. We feel that life is not worth the living as a loss of self-esteem and purpose in life overwhelm us. Loss of opportunities or years of time, although intangible, are equally irretrievable and calamitous. A wrong decision at a critical juncture in life, an unrepeatable opportunity that we turned down, a life wasted in dissolute profligacy. These can lead to grievous regret that could render one ineffective and unfulfilled in life. To His people in Israel, whose land had been devastated, God observed, "A nation has invaded my land, powerful and without number. It has the teeth of a lion, the fangs of a lioness. It has laid waste my vines and ruined my fig trees. It has stripped off their bark. The fields are ruined. The ground is dried up. The grain is destroyed. The new wine is dried up. The oil fails." But despite the irretrievable loss, the Lord promised, "I will repay you for the years the locusts have eaten, the great locust and the young locust, the other locusts, and the locust swarm. You will have plenty to eat until you are full. You will praise the name of the Lord your God." When God comes, the losses are redeemed, the opportunities are returned, and the hopes are renewed. When Jesus comes, all tears are wiped away. He takes the gloom and fills my heart with glory. When Jesus comes, the darkness flees away. There is no loss so great that Jesus cannot restore. Consider then the irresistible grace of God. The Gospels portray Jesus as a compassionate Savior who enters human predicaments to redeem people caught in those dilemmas and restore their situations. Jesus is gracious to those who are weak and vulnerable, oppressed and disadvantaged. His grace is irresistible to all who desperately need a change of heart or circumstance. The dead found Jesus' call to life compelling. The blind could not resist the light. The sick gravitated instinctively towards health when Jesus offered that option. All human life moves towards Jesus because in Him all things hold together. Outside of Jesus, we all come unhinged, unglued. We simply fall apart in every arena of human life without Him. We yearn for fulfillment and cohesion because we are made in God's image, a reflection of wholeness, meaning, and direction. Our souls recognize completeness in Jesus, and we are drawn irresistibly to Him. Every dark night waiting for the light is waiting for Jesus. Every yearning for healing is a longing for the Savior. Every reach for fulfillment is a stretch towards Jesus. Because Jesus is the game changer and life turner. When Jesus comes is when darkness flees. The captives are set free. Fear is cast out. The evil power is broken. The tears are wiped away, and the heart is filled with glory. For with God, nothing is impossible.
We hope that you've been blessed by this pondering session. This is the question for you to ponder on and discuss with your group. Thank you for watching, and we will see you at the next session.